Good, everything is functioning. Hope everyone's well today and enjoying this challenge. Yes, it's a fantastic thing that you're all doing. So let's take a moment. Sit down, cross your legs. Sit however's comfortable for you, whether that's on the floor or on a chair. And take a breath in and out. Lift the chest, roll the shoulders back, extend the arms down. Lift the side trunk up. And then bring your palms together. Close your eyes for a moment. Consciously encourage the breathing to settle. Be aware of the action of the inhalation and exhalation on the chest. The ribs, back, chest. And then bow your head towards your hands. Release your hands down, open your eyes, and lift your head. Sorry, I have a little visitor. 35 kilos of visitor. Okay. Supta Swastikasana. Now, we have a tradition in our way of teaching that we make sure we cover all of the posture groups throughout a month. And this week would traditionally be our back bends week. So we're going to look at back bends. I'm aware that some of you are working from chairs and that some of you have low back issues, sciatica. We've got fused vertebrae, that kind of thing. So I'm going to give options, all right? But we're going to start with just warming that area up and understanding where to begin. Excuse me, Winnie. Go on, over there. Oh, Adrienne's got nothing on me, has she? Come on, Winston. Get off. Go and lie down. Better. And the thing we need to remember is that most of our lives we spend with our shoulders forward and our chest dropped slightly, don't we? Everything, caring, computers, washing up, all of those things. And what we need to do before we start going into back bends is to reverse that action gently. So come up to standing. Let's have a look at that action. Bring your feet together. And I'm turning to the side, so I hope you can see a bit of shape there, a shape in the spine. And so you're working either with feet together or feet slightly apart. If you're restricted to sitting in a chair, you can do this on the chair. Just slide forwards a little so your spine is free from the back of the chair. And you can feel the difference then. Press your thighs back, grip your hips in, so you make the legs very, very active because that provides stability for the lower spine. What we don't want to do is try and do a back bend by pushing the back waist forwards. So if you put your hands on your waist and sort of mark it out with your fingers by touching it, then take that area slightly back. Take it back. You'll feel your tummy move back. And there's almost a fight then between pushing the thighs back and taking the sides of the waist back. You sort of want to drop them forwards, but keep that grip. Sides of the waist back, thighs back, and then the tailbone feels quite relaxed in between. And then you know your lumbar spine is what we call sober. I like that word. So the back of the body here, the lower spine, is quiet. There's nothing going on there. So when we start to lift and open the chest now by rolling the shoulders back, extending the arms down, we can really feel that that work is coming from the upper back. So roll your shoulders back, stretch your arms down, fingers and arms slightly behind the body. But remember, it's thighs back, sides of the waist back, then the chest lifts. And you've really got to work in the chest and the armpits, back ribs, shoulder blades, collarbones, that whole thoracic area between the ribs and the shoulders has to start to open up and move. Inhale and lift the chest a little more. Stretch the arms back and down a little more. Broaden across the pectoral muscles, just underneath the collarbones. Abdomen up and back. Thighs and hips gripping. And then release. So you can feel that's a lot of work, can't you? Even just doing that is a lot of work. And you might start to feel a mild ache in between your shoulder blades as you change the habit of a lifetime from this shape to this shape. So make that shape in a really easy way. Just let your arms go back, move the back ribs in, that thoracic spine in, and open the chest up. Take your head slightly back, but keep gripping the hips and the legs. Can you see it feels a bit like flying, doesn't it? So real letting go. Okay, relax. That letting go is important, because back bends are an act of letting go. So all yoga postures have an emotional and spiritual component to them. And in the back bends, back arches, back extensions, we call them now, there is that sense of letting go. And that often brings things up for people on an emotional level when we start to really open up the heart area, because it penetrates very deeply. So if you find it makes you very emotional and you only want to do, little bits of this sort of work, and that can be for all kinds of reasons. A really nice way to do it, I'm going to show you now, is you get a bolster or 2 blocks, 4 blocks, something across your mat, sit down. Now you can either work with the soles of your feet together or cross your legs, and then take your shoulder blades onto that bolster and your head back onto the floor or onto a folded blanket if you find that that's too much for your neck. That'll depend on the shape of your back. But what we're doing here is we're creating that shape that we just created while we were standing. So get yourself a lift and put it across your mat, cross your legs, lie down over that lift so that your shoulder blades are on the lift and your shoulders are beyond the lift. And then you have something for your head. So the gap between your lift and the blanket for your head is about 5 inches. Could be a block, whatever. It's just so that you can gauge how far back you're comfortable to let your head go. That will depend entirely on you. There's no rule for that, okay? You can have that head lift as high as your back lift if needs be to keep your neck straight. So cross your legs, lie down over that, relax your face, relax your jaw. That's it, well done. Remember, you've got to push back, so it's just your shoulder blades on that. Let your head go back and you'll find your lift for your head, pull it under your head and towards your neck if necessary. If you find that crossed legs is too much, just stay with bent knees, feet on the floor, because you've got to gauge what you're capable of doing. That's great. Now, what I'm seeing is exactly what we were trying to do standing up, which is the hips down, the lower spine is long because the tailbone is moving towards the feet, and you've got that arch, and where we place the lift is where we get the arch. The shoulders are rolling back, the head is slightly back, and the whole of that top chest is opening up. Can you feel that? And when you breathe now, don't do great strong inhalations, exhalations. It'll really mess up your mind. Natural breathing, but become aware of it. Become aware of how this position changes the profile, the breath profile. So the profile here is very much in the middle of the chest, in the top chest. The abdomen is down and quiet. That's not puffing up and down at all. So the whole of that inhalation, exhalation action is happening in the chest where it should. That's where your lungs are, after all, they're not in your belly. And change the cross of your legs if you've got your legs crossed. Relax your jaw, relax your face, let go a little more. Maybe inhale slightly deeper. See if you can allow the shape of that pose to penetrate into your body more. Because we've got to get right to the anterior surface of the spine here, haven't we? Right in the middle of your upper back is the area which is normally moving in completely the opposite direction. And then when you're done, bring your knees together. Now, don't sit up, roll over to one side and push yourself up from facing the floor. That's it. Do not sit straight up out of these postures. And just sit quietly for a moment while I show you the next one. So this sequence is graduated. If that's enough for you, you can do that again. You can change the leg position. You can have your soles of your feet together. You can have cross legs. You can have legs straight, legs bent. Keep working on that. The rest of you, get yourself a chair. I'm going to play around with a chair. So before you decide, have a look what we're going to do. Let's get that out of the way. So we're going to sit on the chair. We're going to grip the chair and press the feet down. You can bring the legs together, keep the feet apart, whatever. Press the feet down, thighs towards each other, and then gripping wherever you can, the seat of the chair, wherever you can, roll your shoulders back and grip your hips down towards the chair. So you need to feel as though you're pulling, although you're pulling with your hands, what you're doing is pulling the hips down, then you lift the chest up. Now you'll probably feel even more opening now in this floating rib area, what we call the bottom band of the chest. And that will be starting to open now. But what we don't want to do is, if you can see it in the picture, is throw the waist forwards. Can you see how my bum is sticking further back than my spine now? We keep that part sober and curve. Can you take your head back? Can you walk your hands back? Can you press down into the seat of the chair and curve? And inhale, lift this armpit chest strongly up. It's hard work. And then release gently and bring your hands onto your knees. Let your spine settle. Breath in, breath out, and then turning to the right, bring your left hand over your right knee. And your right hand over your left. To undo from backward extensions, we always use a twist. We do not do forward bends. And then once more to the left and the right. So there you've got a really nice sequence that builds. You can do each of those twice. And you would find that would have a really, really strong effect. You know, you don't have to do Urdhva Dhanurasana, inverted bow pose, whatever it's called. What do you call it? The wheel? Anyway, Urdhva Dhanurasana, you don't have to do that to get the benefits from back bends. So, next stage then is to go over the chair, and different ways of doing this, but the way I really love it, and actually if you've got a dining room chair, those of you with yoga chairs, you'll know about putting your legs through, but many chairs, especially those ones which have a little back here, it's tricky to get your legs through. So another thing you can do then is to sit sideways on your chair and lie back over it. And if you notice, hang on, I've got to adjust this, it's falling on. There. If you notice, the back of my head is touching this bolster. And I could stretch my arms over. And same thing again, The hips are supported, the lumbar spine is long, the movement is coming in my top chest, just here. Nothing here. No bend at all in the lower back. Give that a go if you've got the equipment. If you haven't, you can do that standing up. Like this. Let me get that out of the way so you can see what I'm doing. So standing up to the wall, this is a lovely way of doing it, especially when you're waiting for the kettle to boil. You stand near a wall, grip your legs, lengthen your lumbar, hips in, and bring your hands up and take them over and touch the wall. Keep your legs straight. Then take a few inches further away. Bring your hands up and over, touch the wall, keep your legs straight, hips gripped. So choose which one you're doing. And those of you taking your arms over, keep your feet under your knees. Be mindful and conscious of what's going on in your body, and see if you can find something to take your hands to. A wall is good, you can walk your hands down the wall, or yes, straight over if you want. Those of you going to the wall, you keep doing this little action until you get to the point where you're far enough away that with the hips gripped, legs strong, hips gripped, waist long, arms up and over, you have to bend the knees. But you don't lose the legs at that point. You've taught yourself by starting at the wall that the legs have to grip. You need a firm base to do the posture from. So you can grip the legs, come up and over, and push yourself back off the wall. 2, 3, 4, 5 times. It's actually really nice. Let yourself go. The other thing that these poses do, they build courage and confidence. Arms as straight if you can. So bring your arms down, swing them up and over. Up and over, yes. Courage and confidence. If you have to do public speaking, do a few of these before you go on stage. And you'll find that it really builds that sort of, hero pose, Virasana. It's the same chest you need for that. And there's no accident about that. It's about courage, confidence, and humility. Those of you sitting on the chair, make sure your feet are flat on the floor. So if your heels are up, see if you can put some blocks underneath them to lift them up. All right? Now I'm going to assume you've all got that picture because we're cracking on here. You're going to carry on. If you haven't done the wall thing, you can come from the chair and do the wall. If you've done the wall, you can come back to the chair. But I want to show you all the next stage for those of you that would like to try on the floor. And even if you want to have a go at this, that's absolutely fine. Now, I'm going to show with bricks to the wall. That's a good place to start. So you get a lift. If you've got a skirting board, that'll do the same job. I'm going to put these bricks here. Pretend that's my skirting board. Confession time. I've got a plate and 8 screws in this arm. So I use a strap because it doesn't quite behave. Took me a while to get it back to handstands and back bends. So I use a strap to make it behave properly. And that is an option. It's also an option to put a strap around the legs if you find that what happens is your legs fall apart. All these things we would cover in in an in-person class. We can give the right help to each student. So I'm sort of doing a racing through it rather, and I would encourage you to go to some in-person classes with someone who knows what they're doing with props. So you can start by coming down over a bolster, because what that does is it lifts you a few inches off the floor so that you've got a chance of getting up. Now, just have a look. You lie down so that your head is off the bolster. So here's the head tip back. Everything else at the moment is horizontal. You bring your arms over. So now you can see the purpose of doing that wall work. You know what you're doing there. You put the heels of your hands on your brick. You get your feet down. Get your hands on the bricks, whoops. And then come up onto your head and then lift. Now the bricks are stable against the wall and you can walk in and you can push yourself up. And then you slowly come down, bringing your head towards your chin towards your chest, and down you come. All right? You might find, you know, as far as you can get is getting your arms over. But even that, isn't it? Even that is good work. See where you can get to. So I've got a lift. You could use 4 blocks. You could use 6 blocks. You could use a chair. It doesn't really matter. What you need to do is support yourself in the shape and then see if through your own volition, you can take it a little further. So press into your feet, press into your hands and move your hips up. Yes, good. Good, good, good. And then see if you're up there, can you walk in a little bit? Good, so move your forearms towards the wall, those of you who are up. And to take joy. Now, when you come down, don't let your head travel towards your feet. That's it. Tuck your chin towards your chest and take your back straight down. If you felt you were losing the legs there, or the feet are at all sorts of angles, you can put a block between your feet and grip it with the inner edges of your feet. And that'll keep your thighs rolling in, which is what you want, which is another reason for putting a strap around the thighs, is to encourage them to roll in so that when you push, you've got the grip in the hips and the lower back is long. All right, have one more go at that. Those of you who've got the will, see if you can come from the floor. You never know. You've done 3 weeks of yoga now. You know, you're in new territory as far as your body's concerned, which is the exciting thing about this program. You're finding out things about yourself you never knew. So inhale, exhale, up you go. And just be glad you're in a short class, otherwise we'd be doing this several times because repetitions are great with this. And then when you're done, come down, roll over, remember, don't sit straight up, push yourself back up to sitting. And let's sit on our bolster or our lift for a moment and we'll just do a little twist. So cross your legs once more, bring your hands onto your thighs. Roll your shoulders back, lift the chest, turn to the right, left shoulder blade in, roll the right shoulder back, relax your face and your jaw, come back to the center and turn to the left, right shoulder blade in, left shoulder back, collarbones level, so don't let the right collarbone drop, keep it lifting. And back to the center, change the cross of your legs. Sit tall and turn to the right. Relax the inner thighs, left thigh. And come back to center and turn to the left. Head level, gaze soft. And come back to the center and stretch your legs forwards. Well done. So now, we're going to do a proper Shavasana. Get yourself ready for relaxation. And make sure that you're warm. You're going to lie down. The other thing with Shavasana is make sure you haven't got equipment around you, belts underneath your skin, or change of surface. The nervous system is incredibly sensitive, particularly the skin. And when you have distractions like that, not on a conscious level, but unconsciously, your body is being distracted. The energy is going to that place, trying to work out what it is. You know how it feels if a fly crawls across your face. It's extremely distracting. So make sure you've got a clear surface for Shavasana, whatever that is, and everything is neat and tidy. When you lie down now, sit in the middle of the mat, bring the soles of your feet together, and just walk your tailbone towards your heels, and then lie down. Press your arms down and strongly tuck your shoulder blades under, lift and open your chest. Release your hands, backs of the hands to the floor. Just lie in Supta Baddha Konasana for a few moments. If that's painful for your legs, then you can either cross them or let them go straight. If you've got a low back issue, put a bolster or a roll of blanket or something under your knees, just to let your knees bend slightly, and you'll find that will release your back. If you don't have that, then bend your knees and walk your feet slightly towards your hips and slightly towards the outer edge of your mat, and that also will release your lower back. So you can lie like this in neutral. Now let your jaw relax, eyes close. Take your tongue into your lower palate. Tip of the tongue behind the back, the front teeth. Relax the sides of your tongue. Relax your inner ears. Soften your eyeballs and let them feel as if they're sinking down into your head, and that the direction of your gaze is slightly downwards, inwards and downwards. So by reducing any disturbance around the skin, by releasing the tongue, relaxing the jaw, the nasal passages, the ears, the eyes, we're quietening all the senses down. This in turn allows us to move inwards. So we're not using the senses to map out the world anymore. We're using our inner eye to map out our inner world. And if you imagine thoughts are like clouds across a blue sky, they come and they go. Don't attach to them. And if you find yourself sailing along with a thought, just release and come back. Those of you with knees bent, when you're ready to straighten your legs, you can do so. Let the floor take the weight of your body. As if your body is so heavy, it's making indentations like a memory foam mattress. Now take a slightly deeper, slower inhalation. followed by the soft, slow, smooth exhalation. There's no point at which the breath speeds up or slows down. It becomes one smooth circle. The exhalations are slightly longer than the inhalations. Become more aware of your pulse and how infinitesimally, but it is noticeable, the inhalation tends to speed that up slightly, and the exhalation tends to slow it down. So you have a quickening and a releasing. And the mind follows that pattern too. As we inhale, the breath, the mind tends to speed up. And as we exhale, it slows down. All these things become clear in Shavasana. And then you can go a little deeper, you can move away from that once you've established that comfortable, gentle rhythm. And when you're ready to, take a slightly deeper breath in and a long, slow, smooth breath out. Bring your hands onto your trunk. Roll over onto one side. Stay there for a moment or two. And then come back up to sitting when you're ready. Well, lots to do in that class, so if you get a chance, go through it a couple more times and pick out a couple of sections that work for you, you know, with all the conditions that we've got in these classes. We have to be mindful of that. And whatever's right for you is right for you. All right. Have a lovely day. Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.